trying to just change my title of my series.
Yeah, listen, that's.
Wait a second. You say Twitch is being dumb? I have an alternative for you.
Tell me more.
Yo, what's going on? Yo, what's going on with this Aiden? What's going on with this Aiden Ross thing, huh, bro? Huh? Are you allowed to talk about that?
I can talk about anything you want.
I mean, he's going to kick.
I'm not permanently full-time going there. I want to feel it out, and I want to make sure my community fucks with it too. So I'll still stream on Twitch if that's what you guys want. But what I will say is this: I'm going to kick this week. I'm going to be doing Omegle, watching live sports, watching movies, prank phone calls, doing unlimited. We can literally watch porn together. I could jerk off with you. No, I'm still celibate. But if I wanted to, we can do whatever the f we want. There's no terms of service over there.
Yeah, he's
dipsetting on Twitch.
Oh shit, really?
He is.
But don't you think he's going for the wrong reasons? That was my problem with it. Don't you think he's going for the wrong reasons? It's because he's going. Right. I'm not even trying to hate. I'm not trying to hate.
You're right.
Don't get me wrong.
You're right.
But he's going because there's no TOS over there. But in reality, okay. And that's kind of there to protect him because he's under the impression that like he's just gonna go over there, watch sports, watch all these TV shows or whatever it may be, movies and stuff, and that no one's gonna come knocking on his door. You know what I'm saying? And that's like not the case.
Yeah, hold on, Elemental. No, yeah, I think when he went live and said all that, I have this feeling that it was maybe his way of trying to. Because as a streamer, I think I sensed an insecurity myself when I was watching him say all that stuff. That seemed more like a way to, you know...
He's trying to get around, not even trying to, but he thinks that it could be like a safe haven for getting around the usual no-nos of Twitch. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think the reason he said that wasn't even for that. I think he was just trying to hype it up and smoothen the transition. Because I think he
just
knows
have
himself.
like straight up reasons to tell his audience, like reasons to go, but he maybe not know necessarily himself, or he does know, he doesn't want to give like all the straight up answers.
No, I think he gave the straight up answers, but I think he just added a couple extra things that just aren't true, just to kind of smoothen the transition. Like, for example, right? Like, I think I've seen a lot of streamers do this with like sponsorships, you know, or like with their Twitch sponsorships or their Twitch deals, you know, like that, you know, there's a social streamer I know that has, you know, explained that his or her deal in a light that is obviously for their community to digest, even though it goes against everything that they themselves preach, right? So I think that these are just transitional ways to they're ways to justify their transition when, because, you know, the biggest thing I think streamers are insecure about when it comes to moving platforms is viewership drop off, right? So I think he is going to say and over exaggerate things to try and minimize his viewership
to minimize his hit. Yeah, I hear
exactly.
Okay.
So I don't think it's the trying to get around things, because I already had a talk with him. Like, listen, the hateful stuff needs to go. You know, all that. You know, no swastikas, no slurs. Like this stuff needs to go. Like, freedom of speech is different than spewing hateful speech that is oppressing people because of religion, color, creed. You know, like that stuff's not allowed. Yeah, hate speech. So like that younger audience needs to understand that hate speech and freedom of speech are two different things.
Yeah, and you also think he might have.
I was just curious. I was just curious your thought on it, because it was like my thought was like that's not the way to think about it, right? Because it's like because my thought was like this. It's not like you're just gonna go to another website and stream UFC in front of 30-40,000 people, right? One of their events, and like just because you don't have Twitch as like the big umbrella, all of a sudden, like, Dana White's not going to come after you, or he's not going to come knocking on your door. Like, that's not the case, right? He will go after you for that type of shit.
Yeah, of course. Like, that stuff's obvious. I think more so what he was referring to, which I was experiencing myself in my 2018 bans and my 2017 bans, which I haven't been banned since that time, so 5 years almost. I've had people that, you know, maybe you haven't had this situation since, you know, you kind of just do your own thing. Obviously, you are a Goliath in the industry, but you're kind of in your lane. You don't really say crazy shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I just.
But I've been in situations where Twitch has reached out to me, and like there is a narrative to play around. There are, you know, things you need to abide by that aren't. I wouldn't say they're neutral, reasonable things. Sometimes they do match a storyline that other streamers like push. Like so. Like, in that way, I know it sounds super conspiracy theory-ish, but it's not. Like, I've been in that same boat. You know, maybe the things Aiden does are a little extreme, and maybe they're deserving of that, but I don't think to the extent of them saying, yo, you're on your last strike, like, don't say crazy shit, like, you know, don't push this, push that. I don't think it's any of their business to do. and I think they do it way too often. And I think they cater to.
Well, I mean, the
certain,
last thing that
group
you
of
would
streamers.
want is like one of your big dogs to get, you know, to get heat from big industries like that, right? Or you don't want one of your big influencers to really even be showcasing any type of like, like being kind of like rebellious, you know what I'm saying? Because you would like, I mean, if I was a company, I would probably push for my biggest creators to be the most pushed for sponsorships or pushed for like ads, right? So that you would want them to be the most PG as possible. So I can understand that from like a business perspective, why they would like buckle down on somebody and be like, I understand. Okay, what do you mean? Like how so? Disagree with what part?
So with the entire part, because that shift in what Twitch wants you to be only comes when Twitch gets big enough. But in the beginning, Twitch didn't care. Why? Because it wasn't about the money. It was about building a business that they believed in, and creating a platform for gamers that can stream to any audience that they harbor or they create, right?
But you also have to understand that only some companies are going to be on the table if you meet certain standards, right? Don't you agree with that? Like you would be cutting off like
it's not their but it's not their business. But it's not their business. No, it's not their. If Aiden Ross brings 100,000 people from his social medias to Twitch, it's not their business to mold Aiden Ross. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, I can understand why they would be like handing out like bans or something like that for things that go against their TOS, because their big dogs especially are supposed to be abiding by these rules so that these advertisers are still interested in advertising on the website, right?
Yes, but they aren't very consistent with those rules.
It's like it doesn't matter if so-and-so had 100,000 viewers and he was like a piece of shit that nobody wanted their advertisements on whatsoever, right? Then that's not helpful at all to anybody, right?
Then pull the advertisements and let the person do his thing, or ban
yeah, I feel
platform.
But that's what comes with like contracts and stuff like that, right? And I mean, I imagine that's why they have a TOS, so they don't have to fucking individually talk about all that shit.
Well, it seems to me like they have a TOS to only hold it over the heads of people that aren't abiding by what they believe to be a streamer these days, because their bans are not consistent whatsoever. And
I'm not gonna say their bans are consistent. I'm not going to go into that for sure.
But
what I'm just saying is that I can understand, you know, having a TOS to make sure that the people on your platform are being as advertiser friendly as possible without necessarily having to individually put your foot down on stupid shit, right? Or try to mold people. It's almost like the vague baseline of like, okay, this is how we roll so that the website can get advertisers. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah. So on the service level, I'd agree with that. But what I'm trying to say is, behind the scenes, there's a lot of different rhetoric going on, right? Like, sure, on a service level, like on the entry level area, areas, yeah, the TOS it's a good skeletal like foundation.
It's a lightsaber.
For how people should act, and the reasonable way they should act, and logical way, and kind way, whatever the hell is for advertisers to want to advertise on the site. But there's a lot of behind the scenes rhetoric going on that, in my opinion,
I'm not gonna get into all that stuff. I don't know any
it's
of that
way
stuff.
more political than it is.
Outside of my lane.
Yeah, it's way more political than it is actual abiding by the. It's way more complicated than just abiding by the TOS. Like when you get large enough, there's a lot of political bullshit going on in the background. We won't get into that for the sake of the vibes of the stream, but let's play some Star Wars.
Let's do it. I was just curious. I don't mean to bring up serious shit. I didn't mean to get it all serious. I was just curious. I was just curious because I saw that comment and just thought to myself, like, that's not really how shit works. You know what I mean? Like,
there definitely is a TOS, and I'm pushing for like a little bit of a stronger one as well. Obviously, I'm getting my pushback, but at the end of the day,
So what are you trying to find, like the happy medium between like Twitch is kind of maybe too strict on some stuff, and you're trying to find a level of strictness that's just, a good amount of freedom still? Is that kind of the idea?
Yes. Yeah. It's just hard because I think we get into the Elon Musk area of his freedom of speech type thing, and it's tough because, like, for me, I like to think I'm a reasonable person, so yeah, I want to find that happy medium. But unfortunately, like, it seems to be the case where there is no happy medium. There is either
you're the
that
full
Elon Musk
into
approach,
that, or you're not.
Yeah,
right?
there's the Elon Musk approach where you can allow the, let's say for political, like a political example would be, you allow the extreme left on, but then you have to allow the extreme right on, right? You allow the left on, you allow the right on. So like, that's the kind of thing. Whereas I think there's dangers in that. But then again, you do have to have a platform for You know, right? So like it just gets into where, in my opinion, it's easier to set a TOS where we eliminate hateful speech and things of that nature, and then we go from there trying to build that happy medium. Does that make sense? So first, it's in the TOS and applying the TOS to each streamer. So yeah, Aiden Ross saying there's no TOS was completely wrong, completely and utterly wrong. Yeah.
What happens when he goes over there and he starts streaming like TV shows and stuff like that? And then are you guys gonna get hit up about that by these companies, or is he gonna get hit up by it? You know what I mean? Because someone will hit you guys up. Not everyone will be fine with it, and with it flying, like whatever it may be. Let's say, okay, just hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
Hypothetical being he gets on and he's like, I'm gonna stream UFC, right? 40,000 viewers, right? Obviously, people aren't gonna be stoked about that. Who gets hit up about that? You think you'll get a phone call, or do you think he'll just get his own personal phone call for that? I'm curious. I just don't really know. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you're not like at that point in the into the business yet. You don't really, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how that works either.
I do know, but we'll talk later.
Okay, I feel it. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything. I'm just curious.
Nah, you're good, bro. Even if you were, I don't care. I'm just really,
sure.
like I said, I am currently in the state of mind of, let's just say I have picked a natural herb on the mountainside, and I have intaken and ingested this herb. So
yeah,
surface
you're
level
not
arguing
100%. I hear you. I get you.
know what I'm saying? What I've said thus far, to be honest, I'm thinking, holy shit, I'm a
No,
god
you're all good.
already
I'm not
for
trying to
handling
interrogate you. I literally was just bringing up
Yeah, you're
something because
good,
I
you're
just
good.
saw it this morning, and I was just curious because you know when somebody,
Yeah,
when
you're
a big
good,
dog
bro.
leaves Twitch, you know I'm absolutely gonna be like I'm curious about it, you know.
Yeah, it turns heads.
Yeah, we all pay
Oh.
attention.
Oh, for sure. And bro, there's a lot more coming than that. Believe me, a lot more. And hopefully one day we'll see, you know, see what you need, Summit. Maybe it's a vacation house in any country you'd like. You know, maybe a couple of them. You let me know,
Listen,
some.
don't
You know,
get
I
me
got
wrong.
your
I
back.
know people got problems with Twitch, but Twitch has been my baby for a long time, you know.
I know, brother. It's been mine too. But hey, if they ever start, you know, if they stop treating you how you should be treated, you let me know. I got you.
Yeah,
Right,
they're
right.
taking money away. You can
That's a
tell,
good
like,
thing, though.
they're
We need.
definitely-
I feel like we need competitors, bro.
I agree. I agree with that completely.
They're getting cheap.
They're getting cheap. They're getting a little dictatory, and you know, when you put a competitor in, I think it humbles all parties. You know, and you start seeing how Twitch used to be. So hopefully, that's kind of my justification at the end of the day. If things don't work out, right? It's kind of like my rationalization. It's kind of like, okay, well, at least we can try and get Twitch to, you know, where it used to be a little bit at least. You know, because I feel like it's a complete alien. You know, to what I remember it being, you know, 4 or 5 years back.
Yeah, Twitch used to be more of a community, more about streamers.
Well, it
playing
kind of
with
went
each
full
other.
circle a little bit, to be honest with you. It wasn't a video game site from the get-go, right?
No, it really no, it wasn't.
Kind of
no.
came full circle back around to the anything site.
Yeah,
where
no.
video games
I'm not
became like priority.
Yeah, but I'm not referring. I'm not referring to the content streamed on. I'm referring to how things are ran, and who's running it, and the kind of ideas and ideals they're pushing onto their creators to push out themselves. Right? Like that's what I'm referring
Why did I
to.
just get put into
Back then, it was more community based, not in terms of gaming, not in terms of content displayed, in terms of the vibe on the site. Now they've gotten what they've needed, right? Just like any other business, they're a Goliath, and now they don't care, right? Like before, just like any other business, they care about the creator, and then as soon as they get big enough, it doesn't become about the creator, it becomes about how they can maximize money. And I think, yeah, any business does that. It's not just Twitch, but I think it's the wrong approach, and I think they're getting too greedy, and we can see it. They're in the red, like they're getting squeezed from Amazon, like they're in trouble right now. So I think this is the consequence of that.
Yeah, but shit changes as things get more and more serious. You know what I'm saying? And more and more people are coming into the mix, and then all of a sudden, like, you
the good
got
news is
more
my
statistical
battlefront
opportunities. Not even saying opportunities, like
once
anomalies
again, I apologize
that
for
will
anything I said. If
happen
it's
on
come
the
up in
site,
any
and
way,
then you
I
have
am
to put
very
it into
high.
your
I'll say it
TOS,
straight
or you
up. I
can't
am
do this
very
anymore, you can't do
high.
this anymore, you can't do this anymore, you can't do this anymore. We basically do it to
I'm ready to
ourselves,
talk
right? Because
tomorrow
we need to
about
be
this.
promotable
It's
to
interesting because
advertisers.
ever
You
since
know what I'm
like
saying?
Mixer
And as
popped
soon
up,
as we're
like,
not promotable to advertisers,
everything's
it's
just
bad
kind
for the
of
whole
been, like,
website, not just
fair
for the
game and
individual
everything's just
streamers.
kind of changed and evolved.
Yeah.
So not everybody
Like,
thinks
that was a
about like the
monumental shift
health
in,
of the entire website.
streaming.
A lot of people are just thinking, especially streamers, like we work for ourselves. Everybody just really thinks about them. What's good for me? What's good for me? What's good for me? What's good for me? Not a whole lot of people really think of like what's good for Twitch as a whole to make sure that everybody's still getting paid the same way. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, that's kind of how I see people when they jump real heavy onto something that's changed or something along those lines. It's like people need to be advertiserable, man, especially the dudes who are humongous. If XQC was not, you know, an advertisable person on Twitch, right? He's like, his viewership is like not really helping out like the website as a whole. So I can understand how like all I'm saying is like I can understand like why a TOS slowly gets more and more serious and more tight knit and making sure this corner's fixed and this corner fixed. You can't do this anymore. You can't do that anymore because there's so many people. Statistically, it's like inevitably going to happen that people are going to f up in this area, and this area, and this area, and this area. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to make things less advertisable to McDonald's or Carl's Jr. or they don't want in on this shit because of these motherfuckers. You know, like who knows? So all I'm saying is like for a TOS to get that strict, it doesn't just happen. Like it gets worked into that through mistakes and trial and error, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, when I was streaming Pokemon Go, I couldn't even show you guys that I was in a vehicle. Things changed. Lots of things changed. You know what I'm saying? Because they were so worried that someone would get into an accident live on stream. Oh man, how crazy is that? That's got to be the least of the worries nowadays. So much shit has happened on stream. That's exactly what they were trying to avoid. Shit happening on stream. You know what I'm saying? But it got out of control. How do you control all that? I used to drive my car and I'd have to put the stream down, cover it. You could not see that I was driving a vehicle. Let alone letting you guys look around, letting you guys look at me. You know what I mean? Just driving away. Like, couldn't do that shit. No. Absolutely, I had to have phone calls about it. You know what I mean? So, if you're a business, if you were Twitch, you'd be scared too, having a million motherfuckers under your belt, all crazy-ass humans capable of anything. That's all I'm saying, is like, seeing it from that perspective, I think.